Going live again. Live with this shit again. Back in the live shit. Hey yo. Tom Lando. Live. What the fuck? Again. Here's something for Google Chrome users. I am streaming on this Google Chromebook. Sorry, Google Chromebook users, not Chrome users. There's a lot of those. Not so many Chromebook users. If you're a Chromebook user, and maybe you have an ad blocker on your Google Chrome, it has a tendency to, you have to clear the cached images and files a lot, or else it has problems. I don't know if that's unique to the Chromebook now that I think of it. But anyways, that is what I'm doing right now. So I'm clearing the cache because my machine's being all goofy. That sucks. Should be a bit better now. Love again. Post link. And what are we going to listen to, man? There's music. There's all this music. I don't know. I kind of want to go back to where I was, to be honest. So let's go with Trail OST. Good. We'll start from the beginning, though. Yeah, so I'm picking up, if you didn't see the last stream, and then effectively put on the other color as like highlights, is it sort of reverses the work of doing the wash rather than using a dark wash to settle into the cracks and sort of put darkness in the shadows of your model. Instead, you cover you put a black base coat so that the model is dark to boot, and then just the places you reach with your brush when you are doing your basic painting, those are the ones that become highlighted, and then everything else is naturally black. And it's a bit less work, but you know, I feel like you can do it either way, but I just like this style because it has sort of the natural darkness of the base coat. It has a cool effect, and earlier I was comparing it to Batman the Animated Series. I keep looking up because my light keeps going out. One of my light bulbs keeps going out, and I kind of need the light for this, so we'll see how that goes. Got a few paints, but since I know what I need from earlier, I'm just going to be using green drab and ocean gray. I'd rather be using German gray, but because there is a pot down the stairs, but I wasn't able to get it open, which is a bit embarrassing, but it happens a lot, so whatever. And ocean gray's close enough. I was also mentioning in my earlier stream today that there's a sort of video game aesthetic to soldiers. Also, I said something really funny. I said I called the allies the good guys, but that wasn't the problem with what I said. See, there goes the light. Maybe you didn't notice. The problem with what I said is that I listed the Russians as if they weren't allies, is the trick. So, yeah, the real point, the point of what I'm saying is in video games, you have certain color standards like, Japanese, Russian tend to be brown, US, British, things like that tend to be green, and German tends to be gray. However, in doing these models, you tend to do a bit of color research. And if you look at like this one, it maybe in the camp with the lighting, it looks great. Maybe if you see here, The point is, like, in the field, like, you'll definitely see gray uniforms in occupying forces in France and stuff, and ceremonial garb, but not so much in the actual units in the field. Usually they're wearing green or brown in the case of Africa Corps kind of thing, which I have actually a piece over here. I might as well show, because I showed a few others today. And I'm not terribly ashamed of this one. It is super dusty, but yeah, that's an enamel piece that I did. Yeah, you can see the dust in the cobwebs. It's not really cobwebs, it's just a lot of dust. Oh boy. All right. Here we go. Gray green. Okay, this dude. He's done. Put him over. Be cool if I could put him somewhere where you can see him, right? Maybe. Well, I don't want him drawing there. That'll do. This wacky dude who sort of inspired what I plan to do with these guys. Very strange pose. That ain't no way to hold your gun. Also, if anybody, I doubt anybody's really gonna think this, but you know, I've got some Nazi soldiers there. These are Nazi soldiers. I've got coming up. I want to do some Nachtjäger that I mentioned earlier. Those are Nazis. This is not a personal preference thing. It is simply a matter of there's a lot of those models, and they're pretty easy to come by. Like I was telling the story earlier, if I got this kit for $1, it's not a great kit. It wasn't complete, but you know, not so bad. Oh, I threw out my napkin from earlier. Foolish me. Here's. Oh, shit. Painted some sort of. Just got paint on a thing that shouldn't have paint on, and there goes the light again. Well, that's dumb. Oh, I really need that light too. Shoot. Hey. Come on. Now I'm blind. That's what happens. Fix the light and then I go blind. Okay, get some gray. Real quick with the gray. Try not to mix the green and the gray in the pot. We'll do that outside of the pot. Not great lighting. Lighting, not great. But I think that green is starting to come together. Much prefer to do this when I have the sunlight, but no luck. Oh, you know what? It's also probably because I blinded myself trying to fix that light. Stupid! Oh boy. People are gonna see this stream. Know what a fool I am. That's something I should have been doing earlier, but wasn't when I was doing these highlights. It was actually drying the brush bit. Good. Yeah. Okay, here we go. It's getting a bit wet again. Should be okay though. Boom, boom. Been using this music. So this is the soundtrack to Oregon Trail, which I was talking about just before the stream ended earlier. It's a version of Oregon Trail, the game that, as I mentioned earlier, became one of the first widely distributed PC games. Well, I don't know if you could call it PC, but computer games, let's say. I think I said PC earlier. Caught myself this time. But you know, it's because it was edutainment. You do a lot with edutainment. And so that's also where it's known from, is from being on school computers. And where Oregon Trail is a pioneer journey across the eponymous trail westward through the states in covered wagons. Oregon Trail, you take a station wagon westward across the states in a modern era infested by zombies. Oh boy. Right. Ideally, what I want is for the paint to not be covering what I'm painting, but just sort of the parts that stand out, so that it looks like the parts that do not stand out have sort of darkened shadows falling into them. Gives it that Batman look. And that's something, like I basically switched from enamels to acrylics to get back to this technique, because it was something I did back when I was younger and did Warhammer models, and I just used acrylic paint. That was like the branded paint. They had Citadel paint or whatever, and that branded paint had or acrylic, so I got used to using it, buying it, using it, etc. So yeah, you can do this neat little trick with acrylic paint. You can't quite do it with enamel paint, because I find enamel paint tends to, I don't know, it tends to naturally fill in more. I don't know what I mean by that. I don't know. This guy done? It's about done. Oops. Gonna need to be drier. We're gonna be done. If I'm just doing a finishing touch, what I meant there is that if I'm just doing a finishing touch, do not want the brush to be too wet. Else else it not do the thing I'm talking about it doing. You just, I don't know. I find it tougher to get. You've really got to mix up the paint in enamels to stop them from getting a sort of sheen to them. I don't know. That's at least my experience. So the current Dungeons and Dragons game that I'm running week to week is actually inspired by Oregon Trail. So I've been on a real Oregon Trail kick lately. And I use this music when I'm running D&D. Sort of fits. It all comes together. D&D game. They are running a caravan of covered wagons through basically like the Mordor of my D&D setting. It's called the Deathlands. Too fancy. You get the idea right there in the name. It's a bad place. Evil dudes. And yeah, they gotta run a covered wagon through that place because it's recently been liberated from the sort of necro-supremacists that run the place, the Nightside Eclipse. Metal reference. Which my game has a lot of, because my game is very metal. Anyways, Deathlands were liberated from the Nightside Eclipse, and now there's sort of a reconstruction in progress. And so the players are in this caravan, sort of on a tour of the Deathlands, seeing if anybody needs help. And those that do, they help. And so basically they have a number of stops on their trip. They have a whole map drawn up. And as they go from stop to stop, each stop has like a main quest. And there are also side quests. And the side quests are determined by there are all these people who want to come along with the caravan at different stops. So at a stop, you'll not only do a main quest, but you may also be offered, a few people may say, hey, I'm going your way. Could I stick to your caravan? And so they, they make the decision. They either let them in or not. Usually they let them in because each one they let in brings with them a fun little side quest. And maybe a decent concept for an actual game, an actual video game. Take the blue pot there. Destroying this envelope that I'm using. Oh, wouldn't be using it if it's still useful. For anything else but this. I do this sort of flick thing if I find that the brush is too wet, because that helps me avoid putting on too much paint, which would either glob on or fill in the parts that I'm trying to leave sort of shadowy. Dark and shadowy. I think I've got a good mix of color here, of shading. again, it's not so, it might not be so easy to tell through the camera because the lighting's not great right now, and right now it's just this like gray green on black, so not the most striking contrast or anything, but trust me, it's there, and I'm decently pleased with it, you know. In comparison with my research and my intentions, you could have seen in my book there for my research or my intentions, which I've been pretty much just droning on about this whole time. You know, if you put that together, figure out that if I say I'm getting what I want, that means it's about somewhere between there. God, that was a convoluted statement I just made. Playing a lot of mental gymnastics, talking to myself like this. Oh shit, McGill. Oh my god. New Star Wars movie. Well, I'm just glad that they acknowledged that I was the #1 Coin Goblin fan in the world. And so they personally called me up and said, "Are you going to play Coin Goblin?" And I said, "That doesn't make any sense. Coin Goblin was in, the stupid new one, and this one's in the past." And they were like, "No, Coin Goblin's a time traveler." And I was like, that makes perfect. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect. My friend Chantel says my thumbnail has an intense look, but I think they all have an intense look. They tend to have this look of me holding out this like pizza of, you want this pizza of painted models, envelope shaped pizza? Pretty shitty. Yeah, Coin Goblin. Love that guy. Coin Goblin was the best part of the new Star Wars movie. And, God, is there a new Star Wars movie now? Is Solo out yet? I don't even know. Hope the music's not too loud. Anyway. Yeah, you want this pizza? Man, maybe I should do streams where I like literally hold up a pizza and I'm like, "Hey, you want some of this?" But it's not. You don't get it. I mean, obviously you don't get it. It's the internet. You never get pizza. The only way you get pizza on the internet is if you order it on Domino's website or any other pizza website. Oh, you'd watch the pizza stream. Man, I had pizza earlier. Man, I don't know if you've seen the new Westworld, but let me tell you, I done love the new Westworld episode. Man, there's literally only one pizza review that needs to be done. Oh, dude, the new episode is so good. I did like the previous episode as well. I like that they're sort of bringing in some of the future world plot. It's a bit funny to me, but at least elements of it seems. But with the James Delos project or whatever they were doing there, that just really reminded me of the actual future world film. So I don't know how much they'll crib from the film, but it was fun to see. It's kind of like when Man in the High Castle actually started doing all the crazy alternate dimension stuff that was like planned to be was in the story or planned to be in the story. I don't know. Man, I don't even remember what was in the story and what was, just in some article I read about what Philip K. Dick intended to write, but then got too depressed too, because who wants to write about a world run by Nazis? Nobody. Unless they're making a video game where you get to blow them up and stuff called Wolfenstein. Still haven't played Wolfenstein 2, actually. I'm a lot better than I was in the earlier stream, but you know, that's how you get to Carnegie Hall. Shoot. Episode behind. Westworld, it's great. I was watching Westworld earlier. I was watching some older episodes. Certain character was revealed to still be alive in the episode that is not the most recent. And I was like, called it. I did call it. I knew they were still alive. No spoilers. Not from the newest episode. I mean from the last one. The previous one. Yeah. The minute I... Yeah, but the new one was very, very good. Very, very, very good. Oh, and I watched... No, but you know what? My dad's been recording it, The Terror, so I will... You know, I will have the chance to see it if you think it's up my alley. Oh man, that's basically what people do. Like my friend Jess comes in, and I just chat with her. It keeps me sort of on topic and stops me from having so much dead air. This is basically what the Tom Lando Files was. I recently watched Barry on HBO with Bill Hader as the assassin trying to turn his life around by taking an acting class. That was good. It was 8 episodes. It gets very dark, and if they do a second season, which, you know, it's Alec Berg, HBO probably will want him to. I have a lot of trouble believing that they'll have any of the levity of the first season, which, like, I think is very important to the draw of the show. At this point, the stuff that's happened is I think it's really going to be hard to have everything be chill after this. Yeah, but it was a great show, and it's funny. I mean, I loved Quarry and was very upset that it was canceled, and overall, I think pretty poorly received. But you know, it's just another Hitman show. Only Quarry was in the 70s, and like it had its own themes and everything. But in terms of like just giving me a Hitman show, very effectively became my new Quarry. I'm like, oh, well, it has the same thing where he does the recon and he researches the victim and everything, and then there's the setup, and usually things escalate to the point where he has to take a bunch of guys in some mission. And yeah, Master Boot Record, very, very awesome. One thing I love about Master Boot Record is he does his own live streams where he plays like retro adventure games, or he was at one point anyway. I used to get on those. That was a lot of fun. I need a bit more paint. Or I could call this guy done. He's kind of done. He's that done. Just got done. Oh, no. And Having some trouble mixing my paints. Whatever. Oh, sick. Yeah, I haven't been able to do much. I haven't been able to get to Toronto at all, so that's unfortunate. I would love to go to Toronto again, move to Toronto, all that stuff. I should just become internet famous, and that'll be easy. Hyperborea. What time is that around? Oh, shit. Dang, okay, yeah. Sounds like my kind of jam. You know what else is on that weekend? It's Can Games, the NerdCon in Ottawa. It's, play role-playing games and stuff. Play Warhammer. Can Games. Used to go to Can Games when I was younger. Used to run games now and again. Yeah, I would imagine Hyperborea is a slightly higher caliber as experiences go. Oh boy. It's kind of tough. It's like earlier I was talking about how you don't want the paint to fall into the cracks too much when you're doing this style of painting that I'm doing. But at the same time, you do have to get in there a little bit. You have to do some effort because you don't want to just have like a shadow of darkness in some crevice of the character. You don't want large splotches of black. You just want spots that are darker, that do not have the color. Yeah, actually, you would appreciate this, McGill, is that the style I do here is I do this dry coat, or I do this base coat in black, and then I put on the colors in highlights, which is like Batman the Animated Series, where they did the black paper and then put the colors on after to get that Gotham look. And that's pretty much why I do it, is because I like this look where the model is inherently dark and then the color just sort of there. But it is like with this lighting and the lack of contrast on the models right now, it's very hard to tell the actual difference. Who doesn't like Batman? I'm sure there's lots of people that like Batman. Constantly assessing whether the green is too dark or too light. Either or. Oh shit, that mosquito. Part of me itches. Suspect some bug is the culprit. Mosquito are kind of clinging to my window, my window screen right now, but I think they can get in. I don't think they can. That's very clever. And the fact that they're stuck there currently is just a ruse to let me put my guard down. A bit more gray, I think. Yeah, they're not that big. This is one of the biggest squads I've done, actually, with 8 figures. But the last thing I did on this stream is these French Foreign Legion guys that are positioned at a wall. So you got like a sniper and whatnot. And I've got about 5 of these little dioramas, although one of them sucks. One of them has like a critical error that involves me mixing up pieces from the kit that sucks with the kit that I was doing. And then there's 2 other that are pretty good, but they're very dusty right now. It's, yeah, so I do arrange them into sort of little diorama scenes, I guess. I haven't done anything too big. I've seen crazy dioramas at some of the model shows where they show these things, but I don't know if I have that kind of patience. Like, it seems crazy. I think that part of it is, you know, they'll tip, like, so this is a very, like, 8 soldiers is a lot for one kit. Usually the kit will have 4 or 5 guys, usually 4 guys. And so, you know, I'd need to buy a bunch to really make a much larger scale piece. And while that would interest me, I think I'd need to like specifically buy those kits with in mind, like, okay, this works with this setting or this works with this era or whatever. And as it is, like, I haven't had any kits that really match up like that in terms of era or, you know, setting, what have you. Which is fine. Like, I kind of like to showcase a specific. If I had like 2, well, I don't know. I would actually like to do a piece with like 2 squads, particularly opposing squads or something like that. Although getting that kind of action, I think, will be a bit difficult with the way these models are usually arranged. I'm not always in fighting position, and although I've seen some crazy. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I guess I feel like if I was younger, I would totally do that. But like when I was younger, I was totally down to do that kind of thing. These days, I'm like, I don't know. I prefer to have the piece fit the actual historical thing, and usually, what I want to focus on is like a specific piece of the arsenal or something. So like one thing I mentioned in the stream that I did earlier today is like you have these oftentimes I'll get a kit and it'll be like, you know, I'll have rifles and submachine guns and stuff, but then I'll have like a rocket launcher, and I will specifically avoid the rocket launcher because that's not really the type of tech that I want to be highlighting in the piece. I want to get like this certain era of rifle or what have you. And the one I'm really excited about, yeah, you know what I have? It's awful. I can't do anything anymore. But I actually, it's not a good example. But my next kit that I want to do is these German Nachtjäger guys who have these like you can't quite see. Well, there it is. Yeah, they have like infrared sensors on their guns and like these big battery packs, and that's an actual thing that the Germans like rolled out towards the end of the war with debatable levels of success, and it's like called the Vampire, and so like that, I'm really into that. Just like the whole idea. Weird tech. I think when I'm doing a model, specifically these models, which do tend to be like historical military models, I'm tending to be pursuing the same kind of passion that sort of gets me into retro games and stuff. Like I'm really fascinated in the progression of the development of video games, but also the progression of the development of warfare tech, which is arguably kind of intertwined given the Cold War and everything. I was thinking about cloud, like smoke cloud flourishes earlier, when I was thinking about like cooler dioramas I've seen. I've never done anything like that, but I think it would definitely be cool. I think I just need to have the right kit that I decide, okay, I'm going to do something a little cooler with this. Something a little bit special. But yeah, I don't know. On the topic of like losing my imagination, I think the real thing that bugs me is like I can't visualize the way that I used to. I used to be able to daydream and really fantasize and stuff. And these days it's like, nah, can't. Doesn't grab me the same way. To the extent that like it used to be, if I had a superpower, I wanted it to be telepathy so that I could like basically have like a theater and then the curtain opens. It's just me sitting there being like, and you get, you get a movie in your head is the point that I'm saying, or explode your brain. I sort of left it hanging there, so it could be anything. But no, and then over time I was like, well, I don't know if I'd actually be able to focus in my mind what I was doing there. So these days I sort of want a different superpower. I am 28. I'm almost 29. I'll be turning 29 end of next month. And oh yeah, superpowers. So these days, I think rather than having a power where I sort of like create a thing in a person's mind, I go for more of like I want like transplanar or like trans-dimensional travel, like plane shifting ability. That'd be really cool. Especially if you could get it Rick Sanchez style, in which case you get to like actually know where you're going, and you can just go to whatever dimension you want. I think that'd be really cool. I think that would be a good superpower to have. Music stops. Worse at whimsy. Yeah, right? I think I've talked to other people because I think at one point I was like, oh God, is this a side effect of smoking weed? But then, yeah, basically everybody I've talked to, regardless of that element of their background, has basically told me the same thing. So I think it's just like, just something that sucks about getting older. I think the thing that is worst about it for me is that when I was younger, I think that element of my imagination, like the power of my imagination, was one of the defining traits that I identified myself by. And so it's one of those things where it's like, oh shit, that wasn't it wasn't an intangible, irremovable part of my identity. It was like something that would fade with age. I don't know. Almost done. Got one more dude to go. Call this guy Mr. Nice Gun because he has a nicer gun than some of these other dudes. Hey, Mr. Nice Gun, how come you get a nice gun? Oh, shit. Really should stop doing that. Worse at whimsy. Yeah, pretty much. Worse at whimsy. Cool 3D World. No. Is it like Cool World? Is it Cool World in 3D? Lost that color a bit. Oh man. God, it's hard to imagine more surreal than Xavier Renegade Angel. I mean, and you know, it's funny. I used to look at Xavier Renegade Angel like, what a fucking ridiculous joke. What nonsense. It's, I don't know. There's something about it. I remember it so fondly. Like, I look back on jokes from it, and they're like quotable and really fucking funny. You're just jealous of you, aren't me? I love it. Checkmate. Oh, so you admit that you were checking me out and that you want to mate with me. And it's also like, it's just so unlike anything that I've ever fucking seen on TV. Like, unlike anything ever really that I've ever seen. There's no vein of even like YouTube humor that could herald the insanity that is Xavier. Oh, yeah, okay. I can do that. And I'll be just done real quick because I'm only really finishing up this thing I started earlier. This guy's that's to imply that the sun is really shining down on this guy's back. There's not a shadow to be spoken of on that guy, on the back of that guy's arm. Oh shit. That doesn't look like a mosquito. Ooh, and I think the OST is just about done. Right on time, because I think I'm just about done with this. All right. My only concern is that the color of that guy, the back of that guy's arm, is maybe not consistent with this green elsewhere. But so you can sort of see right there. Let's see if we can get a similar look here. Seems good enough. And there we go. 8 little Nazis built the book. 8 little Nazis that I painted up. I might be guilty of some Westworld level creator shit since I built and painted these Nazis just to have them exist in complete terror of a sniper that is not even represented on their model. But that's what you get for being a Nazi. Shit wrong with style. Okay. So, 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Yeah, this is some Black Mirror shit. These Nazis that are gonna be fucking attacked by phantasmal force. 6. 7. This is the wacky one. Ew. Oh, help me get the cover. I'm not walking right. And 8. Good stuff. Okay. A close-up of a face, yes. Though the faces are still just the black base coat right now. This is Mr. Wacky Man. Ooh. No, I just started to get a consistent gray-green uniform for them today. And that leaves plenty of work that I could do on stream tomorrow or anytime after that. So we'll see. But as we move to more specific parts of the model, I will have to switch to a better brush, a finer brush. And with that, I really thought like this soundtrack was going to end like 6 times now. It's like 5 minutes away. End of stream. Have a good one, y'all. Thanks for watching.